Brought to you by 714 Tickets in Anaheim, your trusted source for Angels tickets at unbeatable prices with no hidden fees. Whether it's home or away, they've got your seat covered. Visit them at 2424 East Catella Avenue, Anaheim, or online at 714tickets.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your purchase. And Brewheim, Anaheim's premier craft brewery, pouring fresh, locally brewed beers in a welcoming atmosphere for Angels fans and beer lovers alike. Stop by their tap room at 1931 East Wright Circle, Anaheim, or check them out at brewheim.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your tab. The OC Dugout, your one-stop shop for officially licensed Angels memorabilia, custom jersey framing, and exclusive autograph signings with your favorite players. Visit them at 1928 East Center Street, Anaheim, or online at theocdugout.com. Support the businesses that support Halos in the infield.
Yo, we talking haulers, heaters, web gems too. Breaking down the lead, bringing facts to you. From the Bronx to the Bay, every team, every game, it's around the league. No big game, James. Around the league, every night. Big time moments, stadium lights. Halos in the infield, bringing the flame. It's around the league with big game, James. With big game, James. Bomb of the victory, big game, James. James.
After all that, welcome to Around the League show with James. I'm James, of course. This is already episode 5. Remember, we started this back in spring training, and there was, so much news going on even then. Well, the season has started, the games have started, and there's more news than ever. So be sure to, tune in. If you haven't got your MLB fix from anywhere else, tune in here. I'll try to have all the news coverage that really stood out through the week and just give you maybe some updated standings, some players who really went out of their way to do well or not do well. There was a bunch of that during the opening week and weekend. But yeah, thank you to the sponsors, of course. 714 Tickets, Brewheim, Underdog Sportsbook, and OC Dugout. I got to check all of those out, of course. I heard Todd mention, of course, April 19th, the tailgate at Brewheim. Was that April 19th? I must make that, of course, and thank you to Rob for being charitable. I'll even throw something in next time there's something going on. Opening day, or shouldn't say opening day, but the home opener for the Angels coming up this Friday. Well, as you're watching this, maybe tomorrow on Friday. Hoping to be there. I know the Angels have the red carpet and all that going, but I think I'll skip all that. Just hang out with folks. Hopefully get to see everyone, and we'll be there and say hello. Of course, watch all of these shows here. Dominic with his minor league report, and then you have Halo Joe with his show. Fernando and Todd with their the Lone Star podcast, or whatever it may be called, and much, much more with the Angel, with us covering the Halos here on HITI. What was it? The Todd Fox post-game podcast, of course. Always a good one. Now, let's get into what happened during the opening day, I guess, ceremonies or the games, all of that, right? So, I think it's notable to start off with what happened that day, maybe before the game started. and it's something that affected everyone. MLB.TV, the app went down, and I know Fernando, I think, and I were trying to scramble because we're out of the Angels market, but we were trying to watch the first Angel game in Chicago. And it was out for about an hour, I want to say. So from 1 to 2, I was rushing home trying to get on the phone and just could not watch it for an hour. So I just, watched the Padre game locally, but that was just frustrating. Opening day, like everybody was saying, you had MLB had all these days to get it ready, and it just crashes. Maybe because everybody's on it at the same time. Well, don't have games starting all at noon or 1 o'clock. I think maybe that was the problem, but it's just the way that ESPN had to have the Yankees at what was it, at noon? So they had to be the first ones. Whatever the case was, it was just a terrible start to the MLB season, just for an hour, I guess. Mm. Um, Also, another issue: the opening day was on during the same day and time as the Sweet 16, I believe, was going on. So you had people maybe watching baseball in the afternoon. Once it came evening and had games going on, everybody was focused on March Madness. I luckily had a couple screens going so I could watch both. I just love having that ability to watch both here. So I'm blessed in that way. But also, going before all this, starting the season randomly in Japan and having a 10-day gap until actual opening day. That was the problem with having those games in Japan. But it seems like the game's in a good way, other from those starting moments of opening day. Now, I guess some important dates coming up for the schedule. Of course, we had opening day 27, 28th. 28th was interesting because it was just for one opening day game. Everybody else played their second or were off. But the Rays hosted the Rockies at Steinbrenner Field. First game, that was all by itself. Let's see. Lou Gehrig Day is June 1st and 2nd. July 15th, of course, is the All-Star game in Cobb County, Atlanta, Georgia. August 2nd, we'll have the Reds and the Braves at Bristol Speedway. That should be interesting. The prices were just awful in the sightlines for that. Remind you of the time that the Dodgers and the Red Sox played in 2008, an exhibition at the LA Memorial Coliseum. The Little League game is Seattle and the Mets from Bowman Field on August 17th. We have Clemente Day on September 15th, and of course, number 42 Day, April 15th. So those are the important days on the event schedule, at least for MLB. Not all of them, but most of them. All right, let's get to some opening day notes and news that happened. Tyler O'Neill hit his sixth straight opening day home run for the Orioles, as they hit 6 home runs altogether in Toronto and just blew them out. I think it was 12-3, I want to say, or 10-2, 11-2. It was just interesting. Tyler O'Neill, his sixth straight opening day, and he has a home run in 6 straight. Remember, Trout used to have and that's a record, by the way. Trout, I think, had a good run of 4, I want to say. It seems like 10 years ago. A little bit more, a little bit less. But Tyler O'Neill, congrats to him, and the Orioles are on their way. Ice Cube in the lowrider brought out the World Series trophy for the Dodgers from center field. And the Dodgers ended up winning, of course, on opening day with Shohei hitting a home run, of course. And everything went right. Other from the weather, it was cloudy in LA. Well, all over Southern California. But just having that aspect. Remember Ice Cube last year opened, I believe, the World Series Game 1 against the Yankees doing It Was a Good Day. And then Fat Joe, I think, came out in Game 3 in the Bronx. I believe he did Lean Back, but they went on, of course, to lose in 5 against LA. So there was a little rap battle, I guess, whatever. Some bad luck for Mackenzie Gore and the Nats on opening day. He struck out 13 Phillies, which is really tough to do, by the way, with all the power guys that they have. But the Phillies won in extra innings. Bullpen gave it up, unfortunately. That was unfortunate to hear about the old Padre farmhand. But that was just some news from the opening day. Now, the opening series weekend, there is so much that went on. And I think we have to start in the Bronx with the Yankees using the new barrel torpedo bats. And all I could tell you is that the Yankees, in their first 3 games against the Brewers, hit 15 home runs. On Saturday, they won 20-9. I think they hit 6 home runs that day. Judge, I think, had 8 RBIs, a double, and 3 home runs, close to a 4th home run, as my friend mentioned. And on the mound, shockingly, for that Saturday game was Nestor Cortez, who was traded from the Yankees to the Brewers for Devin Williams, who got the save on opening day. There were some boos for Devin Williams, too. It's a tough crowd in the Bronx, but Cortez, first 3 pitches, gave up 3 home runs. Just ridiculous. That was can't remember who led off, but it was, I think it was Bellinger and Judge were part of the 3 that hit it out. Might be wrong on that, but in the Yankees' first inning at the Bronx. Okay, so the Tigers did it back in 2006. Now, you were thinking, well, isn't this bat cheating? But other teams are going to use them. I'll have more on that later. This bat, Torpedo bat, damn the Torpedo, is moving the chunk of wood from the middle to the barrel of the bat to get the batters who really need it to stop, getting jammed, instead to get the bat head out there. Just helping not to get them jammed, and then it also helps them with power. Just imagine it's that bat you use when you're a kid playing wiffle ball, and not the yellow bat, but the big red bat, and just killing that ball. The feeling you had when you had one of those bats, you felt like you could hit it so far and so long. The sound of the plastic hitting the plastic ball is just crazy. But yeah, that's all he did. Now, the inventor of this bat is, of course, an MIT grad who used to work for the Yankees, and now he's with the Marlins. And yes, this is all legal, but you have to believe in the future the pitchers will complain to get it banned, or, like someone mentioned on a show today, that the pitcher should be allowed to use that spider tack oil on the ball or on their fingers. Why do the batters have to have the advantage? The pitcher should have to bring that back. Remember, because of all this with the spider tack, the pitchers get checked every half inning, and the hat, the pants, the belt, the fingers, the glove, the jersey, the arm, that whole process, because of the supposed cheating. Now, somehow the bats are legal. One pitcher from the Brewers, Trevor McGill, mentioned, quote, "I think it's terrible." He told the New York Post this. He said, quote, "We'll see what the data says. I've never seen anything like it before." He's talking about the bats. "I feel like it's something used in slow pitch softball. It's genius. Put the mass all in one spot. It might be Bush League. It might not be, but it's the Yankees, so they'll let it slide, unquote. He was talking about MLB there. But the Brewers pitchers all weekend long, their necks just must been just sore from whiplash, seeing the balls get hit out of the ballpark. Just amazing what the New York Yankees did with that new Torpedo bat. I talked about how other teams will use it, other batters will use it. Two Rays infielders used these bats. Junior Caminero and Yandy Diaz, two infielders for the Rays, used them in a Sunday win 6-4 over the Rockies. And there's no rule forbidding other teams from using these torpedo bats. Now, I go to Monday because Eli De La Cruz, remember, the very young, very powerful, very great fielding and throwing. He throws missiles to first base, but he's their shortstop. He had, I think, an 8 RBI game against the Rangers, and he used the torpedo bats for 2 long dead center home runs at Great American Ballpark. I think it is in Cincinnati. But it was just amazing to see the bat being used and the total difference, and why pitchers, you might see some retaliation. Let me know in the comments, because of these torpedo bats, will pitchers try to cheat, or they'll just throw at batters, or they'll just give them the pass? We'll see if that's the case. Now, I would say it would be a good time to be a Pirates fan, but especially the weekend in Miami. They lost 3 out of 4 against the Marlins to start the season. But the worst part is the Pirates were walked off for the 3 first games and the 3 first losses. It's the first time it happened since the 1924 Pittsburgh Pirates that happened to a team, where you lose your first 3 games getting walked off. And it happened to be 101 years ago from the Pirates. Now, the starters did great for the Pirates. That's Skeens in his opening day start only gave up 2 runs. In total, you had one pitcher give up 2 runs, and then others give up just 1 run. So the bullpen did not do well, and I'll have more on that coming up with the Pirates and their bullpen and the change that they made Tuesday. I think they made it. Excuse me. Speaking of just unfortunate happenings, and now we'll deal with slumps for the hitters. Now, remember, we talked about Rafael Devers so much in the spring because he didn't like that he wasn't going to play third, or he did not want to play anywhere else but third, but they signed Alex Bregman, did Boston. Now he's the DH, is Devers. And mentally, it must be a thing, which just kills you physically. But he went hitless to start the season. 0 for 16. He struck out 12 times. He had a 3 strikeout day, I think, on Saturday as well. And it was a new record for the first 4 games of a season. And that only continued into Monday, where I think he went 0 for 19. Just ridiculous. But people are saying, hey, do you think it's mental, the toll of, being told, hey, you're not good enough, and there's a replacement there for you at third? Remember, he's one of the worst fielding third baseman in the game. But, man, you just either you got to feel for him or you don't feel pity for him about Devers and his slump, and maybe again, what did they say? The baseball game is 90% mental, 10% physical. I don't know if that was the case, but you have to wonder if that's what Devers. Now, I saw this personally, but Luis Ariz for the Padres. Prior to Monday went hitless. He finally got a hit Monday, but I went to go see the Padres and the Braves on Sunday. And the Padres went undefeated so far going in after Tuesday. But they swept the Braves, like we'll talk about later. But Luis Ariz, he went hitless to start the season. He only struck out maybe 3 or 4 times, but that was interesting too because it was 0-for 16 or something like that, and he finally got a hit, so that was good to see on Monday. But the reason why he's one of the best hitters ever in the game, considered for an average hitter, which is rare nowadays. Everybody talks about launch angle, and you can hear people talk about it all the time on the network here. But Ariz, of course, is the man who's won the batting title the last 3 years on 3 different clubs. That's the Marlins, the Twins, and the Padres last year. So that's why it was so odd to see him get in the slump. Now, some more news came out of that series with the Braves and the Padres. As I mentioned, the Padres swept the Braves 4-0. And if you go back to last postseason in the wild card series, the Padres have won 6 straight in San Diego against Atlanta. And it only gets worse now for the Braves. Jurickson Profar, of course, the former Padre, who hit 24 home runs last year for the San Diego Padres, got suspended 80 games for PED use on Monday, right after he left San Diego with the Braves. All weekend long, it was a standing ovation on Thursday for him at home plate before the first at bat. He opened up the game, by the way. I think he was a leadoff hitter. All good words. Him and Manny Machado were hanging out at the MLS game in San Diego after the Padre game. And this comes out, this bombshell, on Monday. He's only played well in San Diego, the 2 stints he's had there. He left for bigger money, signed a 3-year, $8 million deal to go to the Braves, and the Padres cannot spend anything because of the TV money issue and the ownership issue right now. But just Profar and the Braves are off to horrible starts. The team hasn't won a game. This is a team, of course, who's been to the playoffs so many years straight. The All-Star games in their ballpark this year. Just wild. He tested positive for, follow me here, chloronic gonadotrophin. It is a hormone that helps with testosterone. Who knows? The bad part about this too, he'll be ineligible for the 2025 postseason as part of his suspension. So not only the 80 games, but no postseason if the Braves make it. That's the big part, if the Braves make it. So just a lot of bad stuff going on for the Braves right now. Wild. Unfortunately, Max Scherzer also got hurt this weekend. He one start and he's out for a little bit. He had a thumb injury that came back from spring training. He fared well after it, but then it came back. And now a shoulder lat injury. I think he'll miss maybe a couple of starts, but he's 40. Uh, they were hoping good things for him, but man, when you're older, things start to hurt even more. It seems like, and it's just really unfortunate for Scherzer and the Blue Jays. They're dealing with the story of Guerrero Jr. not being able to get an extension with Toronto all off season long, and he's bound to get traded. Blue Jay fans, even with getting Santander, just really not happy with the way things are going. Good things if you're a Red Sox. Back and forth, I guess, with the happiness if you're a Boston fan. But Garrett Crochet finalized a 6-year, $170 million extension with the Red Sox on Monday. The extension will go through 2031. Crochet, of course, was traded from the White Sox to the Red Sox for a handful of prospects in the offseason. I think it was in December. And it was a big deal, considering it would have been a rental deal. But Crochet has been locked in, and it is good for the Red Sox to get not only an ace, allegedly, long term, but you brought in Bregman as well. Then you have all these young players. I mentioned Christian Campbell, their rookie second baseman, might have a rookie of the year type of year. On opening day, I believe he hit a bomb to center field for a home run in Texas, and I'm just hoping that pick goes well for me with that. So lots of good things are happening for the Red Sox, other from Rafael Devers not swinging it well. All right, other news here going on after the weekend, of course. Lance Lynn, remember the starting pitcher from after 13 years, who retired, announced his retirement, I should say, on Tuesday on his wife's podcast, nonetheless. I thought that was an interesting way to do it. At age 37, he retires. He was a two-time All-Star and a 2011 World Champion with St. Louis. He had a career wins and loss record of 143.99 with a career ERA of 3.74. I thought that would have been more, but maybe he started off better than he ended. Let's just say that. He pitched for the Cardinals, the Twins, the Yankees, the Rangers, the White Sox, and the Dodgers. He was really known for his emotion on the mound, later on his playoff beards. Giving up the long ball, I think, was his thing, especially later on. I mean, I can remember, I think it was in 2022, the Dodgers were playing Arizona. And they were in Arizona, in Phoenix. And he was giving up so many home runs in that playoff game. I thought he was done then, but there were certain teams that kept giving him, a chance to pitch. That was the White Sox. It was the Cardinals again. But he was also known for getting strikeouts. So he was an all-or-nothing pitcher to me. Power pitcher. He was also known to be kind of like me, kind of porty, round shape, gut. I can also remember a story. Steve Stone, the great broadcaster analyst from the White Sox, when Lynn was a White Sox, said in an interview, a radio interview, I believe, for maybe ESPN Chicago, Stone said that Lynn needed to mix in the salad once in a while. And I'll always remember that when I think of Lance Lynn. Steve Stone is just brilliant that way. But when you're sick of losing and problems are out there and you have to tell the truth, Steve Stone, I think, never holds back. So I think a wild career for Lance Lynn for his 13 years. It seemed like more, but he was all or nothing. Usually you say that for like a power hitter, but this was kind of a power pitcher, in my opinion. So I talked about the Pirates earlier. So Pirates reliever David Bednar was sent down to AAA Indianapolis. Manager of the Pirates, Derek Shelton, said, quote, "We've got to get him right," end quote. Change some things around I saw, get his pitches right, and get him back to his all-star quality. He's 30 years of age. He's been with the Pirates since 21. He was traded with a he was traded to the Pirates for Joe Musgrove to San Diego, and both are hometown kids. Musgrove from San Diego here, but Bednar, hometown kid, he's been one of the best relievers in the game from that span of 21 till now. I think a couple of all-star appearances. But he struggled since the start of 2024 from what I've seen. An ERA over 6 in that span. And so far this season, Bednar has given up 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 runs over an inning of work. And that was against Miami. Remember, though, he's always a subject of trade talk with the Pirates. Anybody good, they're starting to extend their stars now, but I thought Bednar was the one that they were going to try to extend more or just trade away. Now you have to wonder what they'll do with him, and hopefully maybe he can get back to his all-star form after a year and days of having unfortunate trouble on the mound. Tuesday, Nathan Eovaldi, who of course I wanted on the Angels, or Martin Perez, both have been really well in their starting pitching roles. Perez, of course, on the White Sox, who, by the way, they had a no-hitter going until the 7th inning on Monday in Chicago against the Twins, and the Twins got shut out, and it was just a great thing to see. If you're a White Sox fan, just being over 500 was a fun thing to see, I think. But Nathan Eovaldi on Tuesday, after the club got demolished, Rangers lost, I think it was like 13-0, 14-0, something like that. 14-2 or 14 I think it was 14-2. Anyway, the next day, it's funny how baseball's day to day, like they say. But Eovaldi threw the first complete game of the season at Cincinnati, and it just took 99 pitches. It's what they call a Maddox. And it's funny, Mike Maddox was there as a pitching coach for the Rangers. This was a Greg Maddox type of day or night for Eovaldi. He scattered 4 hits, struck out 8 Reds, and didn't walk a Red, which was very impressive. He last threw a shutout in 2023 against the Yankees. That was April of 23. And the first time a Ranger has done this, now there's conflicting reports, but they said Kobe Lewis in 2015 or Cole Hamels in 2017. It was the 5th complete game shutout in Rangers history. Nolan Ryan is in there. There's I forget who else, but it was just fitting the outing was named a Maddox. So whenever you have a complete game shutout, you call it a Maddox from now on. And I think that was just amazing to see. What was not unfortunately not was great to see on Tuesday night, the Dodgers start 7-0 for the season. Remember, they had the 2 games in Japan in which they took both from the Cubs. They come stateside, wait 10 days. Opening day, they sweep the Detroit Tigers, and now they're on the way to sweeping the Atlanta Braves. So these Dodgers of 2025 and 1933 Yankees are the only defending champions to begin a season 7-0. They just had the power of Hernandez. Mookie Betts, even though he had the throwing error on Tuesday, it's amazing what he's done ever since he's been sick, since before the Japan trip. The 20 pounds lost, like I mentioned, couldn't keep any food down. And now he's out here playing like it never happened. He's just an amazing spectacle for baseball. Now, some milestones to look out for this season. Let me get these up here. Excuse me. Shohei Ohtani, of course, trying to win 3 straight MVPs. Remember, with the Angels in 23, the Dodgers in 24, and trying to do it in 25. Luis Ariz, like I mentioned, he's striving for his 4th batting title with the Padres, trying to get another one with San Diego. There are 5 players trying to get 300 home runs. Schwarber from the Phillies, Eligio Suarez from the Diamondbacks, Marcell Ozuna from the Braves, Salvador Perez from the Royals, and Mookie Betts for the Dodgers. And Schwarber is the closest one. I believe he's hit 3 so far, so he's maybe 13 away from his mark. Betts, of course, has hit 1, and we'll look out that mark or that mark there. Now, closer to home, Mike Trout with the Angels, 400 home runs. He's been on a slump, I know, to start the season. Did have an 2 RBI double, I want to say, in that game on Tuesday against the Cardinals. He needs 22 home runs this season to get to 400. I'm sure Roger Large will tell you all about that. There are 2 players that are trying to get 1,000 RBIs this season. It's Bryce Harper of the Phillies and Mike Trout of the Angels. The 2 that folks have compared are trying to get that. Manny Machado is trying to get 2,000 hits this season for the Padres. He needs 100 hits. When he started the season, 100 hits. He's had some hits this season so far. By the way, for Harper, he needed 24 starting the season. And then Trout, needed 46. And he had, 2 Tuesday nights. So we'll just keep checking that out. Terry Francona, for 200 managerial wins, he needed 50 coming into the season, so look out for that. And Clayton Kershaw, if he does pitch sometime this season, he's trying for 3,000 strikeouts. He needs 32 more to become the 20th pitcher to ever get 3,000 Ks. So those milestones are in reach for those players. We'll keep a lookout for them. In other news, this isn't MLB, but I thought it was an ongoing trend of college baseball scores that you would run out of room with on your scorecard or your if newspapers were a thing anymore. But there was another game that just was mind-boggling. So, excuse me. LSU Shreveport won a game in 6 innings, 42-4. Shreveport ended up being 33-0, 18-0 in their conference. Let's just say. I think I know someone who went there, but they had 27 hits, 1 error. The other team is Texas College. They had 4 runs, 6 hits, and 4 errors. We'll wonder if we'll see a John Boy video on this game. But the scoring is what is wild. So to start the game, in the first inning, Shreveport's home. They score 16 runs at the end of one. Then they score 3 more in the second. They don't score in the third inning, but in the fourth inning they score 15 more runs. Add it up. I dare you. That's amazing. Unbelievable that they scored that much right away. 34 runs after 4 innings. By the way, Texas College scored 2 runs in the third. So after 4, it was 34-2. Ridiculous. Neither team scored in the 5th inning. And then in the 6th inning, just to add on, Shreveport scored 8 more runs to make it 42-2. I'm looking at this, I'm like, what the hell? I'm not even sure NIL favors LSU Shreveport, the Pilots here. Nice hat, too. Texas College did get 2 more runs in that 7th inning, but they scored 7. They went 7 innings, and again the final score 42-2. I don't know what's going on in college, but there just seems to be a theme of weekly games that just are wild scores. That happened, by the way, I want to say on Saturday. One more MLB note before I go to the standings to start off. Jeff Conine helped the Marlins win their first World Series. Got traded, then came back to win another championship. That was 97 and 03. I can't remember what day this was, but he got his he went into the Hall of Fame of the Marlins. And then his son Griffin hit a home run for the Marlins. So Griffin Conine is a Marlin in left field. He also made a great catch. I believe it was on Saturday night. He did these things. It was just, man, it was amazing to see. So March 3rd, no, it couldn't have been March. Maybe it was Monday. Maybe it was Sunday he did that. But Conine, his son is back with the Marlins, and that's the one name you know if you're a big fan of baseball from the past. You know Jeff Conine. I guess you'd call him Mr. Marlin, I guess. All right, so we'll go through the standings real quick as of Tuesday, and then we'll tell you, I guess you'll figure out who's hot and who's not because of this. I guess we'll start off with the Angels. After Tuesday, they're 4-1. Who had that? Texas 4-2, Houston 2-3. The Athletics are 2-4, and Seattle's 2-4. By the way, Seattle and the Athletics played a pretty fun series to open the season in Seattle. That's pretty cool to see. All right, the AL East has Tampa Bay. Again, these are as of Tuesday, 4-1. So they've had their fun at Steinbrenner Field so far. It seems to be, I don't want to say a festive atmosphere at both A's and the Rays minor league ballparks that they're playing in, but they're just there. They're there. I believe the Rays opener wasn't sold out. The A's one, I think, was. And they're now hosting the Cubs. The Yankees, with their torpedo bats, finally lost a game, so they're 3-1. The Blue Jays are 4-2. The Orioles are 3-2, and the Red Sox, with all their issues with Devers, is 1-4. And you can just tell how one guy has brought down that whole team. The AL Central is a disaster right now. Everyone is 2-3 except the Twins, who just got their first win. Now they're 1-4. The Twins, by the way, I think they got their win against the White Sox. In the National League, the Phillies are 3-1. The Marlins are 4-2. They got some revenge on the Mets from yesterday or from Monday. Mets are 2-3. The Washington Nationals are 1-4, and the winless team are the Braves at 0-6. That's the only winless team, but just, again, not going well with the Braves. NL Central, the Cardinals are 3-2. The Cubs are 4-4. The Reds are 2-3. Milwaukee's 1-4. And the Pirates are 1-5. In the NL West, the Dodgers are 7-0. The Padres are 6-0. The Giants are 4-1. The Snakes are 3-2. And then the Rockies are 1-3. Gross. So those are the updated standings through Tuesday. You'll see this on Thursday, of course, and one game or more will be happening. But thank you for watching Around the League here. I can't believe it's already episode 5 of this show I'm doing here. Maybe we'll have some guests come on. But keep watching all the shows and all the programs we'll have here on HITI. And we'll see you next time, definitely. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Brought to you by 714 Tickets in Anaheim, your trusted source for Angels tickets at unbeatable prices with no hidden fees. Whether it's home or away, they've got your seat covered. Visit them at 2424 East Catella Avenue, Anaheim, or online at 714tickets.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your purchase. And Brewheim, Anaheim's premier craft brewery, pouring fresh, locally brewed beers in a welcoming atmosphere for Angels fans and beer lovers alike. Stop by their tap room at 1931 East Wright Circle, Anaheim, or check them out at brewheim.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your tab. The OC Dugout, your one-stop shop for officially licensed Angels memorabilia, custom jersey framing, and exclusive autograph signings with your favorite players. Visit them at 1928 East Center Street, Anaheim, or online at theocdugout.com. Support the businesses that support Halos in the Infield.